Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. In this video, we are going to present our group project. It is a system for a class attendance. Before we go any further, let me introduce you to our group members. Our group consists of 3 members, that is Alana Nabila binti Izani, Mariam Sakinah binti Zaharan, and me, Fatimah Nurhani binti Mansur. For introduction, we created a system for tracking student attendance to ensure accurate and reliable data keeping to simplify the class attendance process. In this system, it will organize the attendance data systematically to ensure attendance data is easily accessible. Also, to provide easy access for students to fill the attendance and for lecturer to reviewing student attendance record. Next is our group coding. Node class. Node class is commonly used in linked list. We have student data and node next. In linked list class, there are private node first, private node last, and private node current. For the linked list, we have insert at front, insert at back, remove from front, remove from back, get first, and get next method. Here, we have the queue class. We have 5 methods. Constructor and queue. The queue is empty and size. This is our student class. We have private string student name, student ID, course, and class code. We also have default constructor, normal constructor, setter method, getter method, and to display the data, we use toString. Next, student attendance class. We have private student and private boolean present. There are constructor, getter method, mark attendance, and generate report method here.
Hi, my name is Mariam Sakinah binti Zaharan and I'm going to show you and explain the two main applications of an attendance management system where we use linked list and queue to determine which of these data structures is the best to implement for the system. First, let's take a look at the main attendance class, which is the main application for the linked list data structure. So firstly, we initialize the student attendance list as a linked list to store the objects of type student attendance. And then the program will begin by reading the student data from the text file where we name them as studentdata.txt. This file contains the student data, which are their name, student ID, course, and also class code. We use file reader and buffer reader to read from the file, and then we also use string tokenizer to break the strings in the file data into tokens based on specific separator, which in this case is a comma. And then we also create a student object and store the information into student attendance object, and then add them in the student attendance list. Now next, the program will display a menu where user can choose between 7 options, which is 1. Marking attendance, 2. Add or insert new student, 3. Delete a student data, 4. Update student details, 5. Search for students in a course, 6. View all students, and 7. For exit. So in this case, we use do while loop for the menu so that the menu can keep showing after they are done with the process. So the user can choose to use other options as well until they chooses option 7, which will make them exit the program. As you can see here, we use the switch case for each different processing. Case 1 is for marking the student attendance, so the user will be asked to enter the names of the students who are present. So if they type done, the input will stop, and then the program will search for the students by their name from the student attendance list. If the name is found, the program will call the mark attendance function to mark them as present. Or if it is not found, a message student not found will be displayed in the screen. The program will also generate attendance report where we call the generate report function from student attendance. And next, the program will also count the present and absent students and display them so the user can keep track of the count of present students and absentees. For case 2, the program will ask the user to enter student name, student ID, course, and also class to add a new student in the list. So we will create a new student and student attendance object and store the data in those objects. And then the program will display a message which is students added successfully. After the program will add the data that was inserted by the user to the list, to the student attendance list. Next, for case 3, the program will ask the user to enter a student ID to delete its student data in the list. So first, we will create a temporary list to store remaining students, and then we are able to remove the student with matching ID. And we also initialize found. So if the student ID that was entered by the user earlier matches the existing student ID in student attendance list, then the found will be set as true and the program will successfully remove the student data. And then a message will also be displayed, which is student removed successfully, will be displayed on the screen. So next is case 4, which is for updating the student details. So firstly, the program will ask the user to enter student ID to update. Then, if the student ID that was entered by the user matches the existing student ID in the student attendance list, the program will then ask the user to enter new name, enter new course, and also enter new class code, which then set the student name and course and also class code to the new data that was entered by the student earlier. For case 5, we use bubble sort and then binary search to search for students in a course. So bubble sort is used to sort the course name in alphabetical order in order for us to use binary search. We also need to convert the linked list to array list so that we can do the searching. The user will be asked to enter a course name, then the program will display the students in that course who are present only. So in this case, if the students are present, then the program will display the students in the course who are present. But for example, if in the case where all of the students in that course is absent, then the system will display no students found in this course. Otherwise, if there are students in that course who are present, then the system will display the students' data such as the name, ID, course, and also class code. And for case 6 is where all of the student data will be displayed. So we will display the list of all students, including the ones that we have inserted or updated or also deleted just now. And it will call this toString function from student, and it will display all the students' data such as name, ID, course, and class code. And lastly, the case 7, where when the user use the option 7, the program will be exited successfully. The default is used for when the user enter a choice which is not between 1 or 7, then the system will display a message which is invalid choice, please try again, so that the user needs to enter a new number between 1 to 7. So this is the bubble sort and binary search by course function which were used earlier in the search option, or specifically in case 5. Next, we take a look at the second main application, which is the main application for queue data structure. So firstly, we declare the queues, which are student attend, student attend 2, and temp s. Student attend is a queue to store students who are being processed. Meanwhile, temp s is a temporary queue that is used later for restoring data. We use file reader and buffer reader to read from the file, and then we also use string tokenizer to break the strings in the file data into tokens based on specific separator, which in this case is a comma. And then we create a student object and store the informations into student attendance object, and then add them in the student attend queue. Next, we will display a menu where user can choose between marking attendance, add or insert new student, delete a student data, update student details, search for students in a course, and lastly, viewing all students' information just like we did earlier in the linked list main application. So this menu displays options for the user to choose from, and then the program will read the user's choice between 1 to 7, and we use the while loop for the menu so that the menu can keep showing after they are done with the process. So the user can choose to use other options as well until they chooses option 7, which will make them exit the program. For case 1, the user will be asked to enter a student name and ID, and a new student object is created. So the student data that was entered will be added to the student attend queue by using NQ, and then the attendance is successfully marked. For case 2, which is for inserting new students, the program will ask the user to enter student details such as their name, student ID, course and class code, and then a student object is created and will be added to the student attend queue, and a confirmation message will be displayed, which is a message that said new student added. For case 3, which is removing a student, the user will be asked to enter student ID to delete the student data, and then the remove student ID function will be called to remove the student from the queue. For case 4, on the other hand, the user will be asked to enter a course name, and then the search student in course function will be called to search for students in that course. And lastly, for case 6, the program will display a message which is exiting the system, and then the while loop will be ended and the program will exit. So this is the search student in course function that we used earlier. Next is view all students function, which displays all students without losing the queue data. And lastly, the remove student ID data function, which searches for the student ID and removes it from the queue, and then restores the queue to maintain order.
So I will explain about sample input. So this is the student data that we created in class called student, which is contained on name, ID, course, and class. We continue to see what are the sample output. The first one is linked list. The first one is mark attendance. So this is the output that we can see, list of students' attendance, attendance system menu. So they will give option which one to use, which is mark attendance, insert new student, delete student, update student details, search for student in a course, view all students, exit. So you can enter your choice which one do you want to process. We need to insert student name to know if the student is present or not. After we insert the name, we have to type done when it's finished. This is the output after we insert the student name. The status will be present, but if we don't enter the student name, the status will be absent. Lastly, we can know the total of student present and the student absent. We will go to the next menu, which is Insert New Student. So we need to insert student name, student ID, course, and class. After that, the output will show student added successfully. Next system menu is Delete Student. We need to insert student ID to be deleted, and the output will show student removed successfully. Next menu is Update Student Details. So we need to enter the student ID which student that we need to update. We need to insert new name, new course, new class. After that, the output will show student details updated successfully. So we will go to the next menu, which is Search for Student in a Course. We need to insert which course we need to search for student. For example, we insert AM110. So they will show which student in the course of AM110. The next menu is View All Students. The output will show list of all students. Continue list of students. After all student list, the output will show exit successfully. The last menu in linked list is exit. After we choose it, the output will show exit successfully. After that, we will go to the next main, which is queue. So the output will show attendance system menu. There were many options that you can choose, which is mark attendance, insert new students, delete student, search for students in a course, view all students, and exit. So the first one is mark attendance. You need to insert the student name and the student ID. After that, the output will show attendance mark for the student that you insert before. The next menu is insert new student. You need to insert student name, ID, course, and class. After all, the output will show new student added, student ID, course, and class. The next menu is delete student. You need to insert the student ID to be deleted. If the student ID is found, it will be deleted. But if the student ID is not found, it will be not deleted and the output will show student ID not found. The next menu is search for student in a course. The user need to insert course to search for student. The output will appear the student that take on that course. The next menu is view all students. The output will show list of all students. Continue list of students. The last menu in queue is exit. After we choose it, the output will appear exiting the system. Goodbye.
In conclusion, we can conclude these two structures have their own advantage and disadvantage. Linked lists support insertion, deletion, traversal, and updating in any position. Meanwhile, queue follow the first in, first out, and has limitation in accessing middle elements. So, the better choice for implementation is linked list that is more flexible than queue. That's all from us. Thank you.